Discursive positioning in the article about troubling to troubled connects to the school-to-prison pipeline and zero tolerance in many different ways. However, the main one that stuck out to me is that students are limiting themselves into positions that people expect. Collins says this a little better on page 745, stating that students are limiting themselves to the way they see education is supposed to be ran. For example, they see the teacher as the one up front telling them what to learn, what the facts are, and what they should think. And they see themselves as the ones sitting there listening and taking in the information. When we allow students to think that way, we are allowing them to fall into a pattern that will only hurt themselves and their future. How? They will not strive to help other students learn maybe their way of thinking. I don't think the same way as Brooklyn or Jessica, so if I sit back and think that I'm the only one or I can only learn, I'm not going to be able to get my ideas out there. They are also limiting the teacher's knowledge. A lot of times, the students that I've worked with teach me many different things. So if students think that they can't teach their teacher something, then what are we getting out of our community? Nothing. The students all need to feel that they have a place in the classroom and that they're worthy of being in their classroom. When looking at the prison to pipeline situation, this is the exact same thing that is happening, and Richard Ross really opened my eyes to the depths of it all. When in these prisons, the children have no choice what to do. They're put in the position that they know what is expected of them. They have a schedule to be ran, and they know that the correctional officers are the ones that are expecting it of them. If they don't do something that the correctional officer likes, into segregation you go. And what is putting a 12-year-old in a 10 by 5 closet? Nothing. It's letting them know that no one's there for them, not one person. All they have is themselves. Do we think that belittling children to think that they are under us as adults will really help them in any way? Because sometimes they are adults themselves. And would this just not make you want to act out if someone 2 years older than you was telling you that you needed to act a certain way? Do we think that taking them out of the schools because of some law like zero tolerance is acceptable? What makes someone's education more valuable than someone else, no matter what the situation they're in? What exactly are we telling the students if we just throw them to the curb when they do something that we might not like? I'm sure I do something that they don't like, but I'm still there, aren't I? Schools are a place students need to feel loved and accepted. Tying this to warm demanders, like Ware said, we should be providing the second mother-like feel to our students, not being the ones to push them when they're down or to send them to the office when they might say something out of hand. Never take it personal. Once you take it personal, that's when they'll start acting out to you even more. Half the time they do something acting out to you, it's because something else is going on in their lives. While the continuum to troubling to troubled behavior talks about how different races may be more likely to fall under these categories, I disagree. I believe that students' home lives, their own determination, and how they are supported are the main factors in each and every single one of their success. Since when does the chemical in your skin affecting your skin tone become the reason that you do something that is inappropriate? It's not at all. It doesn't. However, if we as teachers are there to allow the students to feel like they can become someone important, that we will support them, that we will be there anytime they need something, then our students are more likely to feel important, are more likely to want to do something, to really succeed, and to help them for their future. An example from our classroom would be like our Tupac the video that we watched. and how he really felt that after that adult really told him he was important and that he mattered, he became something because he had never had someone do that before. It all comes down to letting our students know that we care and that we aren't just there for some scores. I personally never want my students to ever feel that way in the classroom. I want them all to see us as equal learners in a sense that we are helping each other reach our full potential. I'm not saying that I do not want my students to respect me as a teacher, because I want to have their underlying respect. To help build their respect, I want to visit my students outside of school and really connect to them on another level. I want to know their mom, their dad, their grandma and grandpa, their siblings, what they like to do. I want to see them in an atmosphere that they strive in, that they're comfortable in, that they're confident with. When reading Weir's article about warm demanders, the teacher that really stuck out to me was Mrs. Willis, and the excerpt that really stuck out to me was, to help build a relationship with her students, Miss Willis mentioned that she allowed them to listen to the radio while they worked simply because it pleased the students. Another example of how she taught the whole class and manifested her dedication to their needs emerged from her concerns about children who arrived at school without adequate hygiene preparation. If a student appeared with an unwashed face or unclean clothes, she provided clothing and toiletries for their use. What's going to hurt letting them listen to some radio? I hate silence. It makes me feel uncomfortable, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way. I want to be the teacher that students know I'm there. I want my students to know that I'm strictly there to help them succeed. I never want to be the one to bring them down. I'm never going to belittle them, or I never want to be like, oh, that answer's wrong, sorry about ya, or to tell them every time they might do something unacceptable. I want to be there to help them reach their best, their full potential. I care and I value them as humans and individuals. That's how I want my students to feel.